is going on, everybody? Hope you're having a great day, a great week so far. I'm coming right back to you with episode 1 of the self-love series. And so this is a new series. We're moving to 2 podcasts a week. And really what I decided to do here is this last podcast, as all of you who listened to that one or watched it know, it was a very deep one. I went into a lot of my struggles from the past. I went into a lot of my struggles that I'm going through currently. And really through doing that, I just really realized that I have a lot of work that I still need to do. And mind you, I've been working on that a lot over the last month and really trying to get into a better place, which is why I am doing my identity shifting program, which is why I am really trying to change a lot of things in my life and start moving in the right direction. So what I wanted to do in this series, in this self-love series, is really bring you on the journey to me developing self-love, to me accepting myself fully and accepting those past mistakes I've made, the past things that I've done, and my journey to 100% belief in myself. Because I think that I'm not the only one here, right? I'm not the only one who's going through this stuff, where I just realized that I don't fully love myself. And although I'm getting better and I'm getting every week it's a little bit better, I do need to just go back into the past and repair some of and heal from some of the past just traumas, right? And I think trauma can span so many different things. It can be some of these smallest things that we don't even realize in our childhood that really permanently do a lot of stuff on us. And obviously permanent is, that it can just do a lot of damage to us and our psyche and our mindset and can really hold us back from doing what we really want to do in this life. And so that's where I've been going. And that's what I'm going to do in this self-love series going forward, is bring you on the journey of what I'm doing every week. And so this won't be a very long, this podcast will not be a very long one. It's going to be a shorter one where I just kind of bring you up to speed on that week. And so with that, one of the biggest things that I noticed is once I actually admitted to myself that I needed to do a lot more work in this area, in the self-love area, in the self-acceptance, in the belief in myself stuff, a lot of peace came over me when I started just going down this path and understanding that it was a problem. Like I was almost like, okay, I admitted to myself I did have an issue. I didn't want to admit to myself for so long. I didn't want to admit to anybody that I was just going through these things, that I fully hadn't resolved some of the things in my past. I always thought I was like a selfish person and, that I did a lot of things selfishly, which, I think all of us in some respect, all the things we do are a little bit selfish, right? But I'm trying to make a lot more of my decisions about other people and about more of an impact and more about helping others. And so I got a lot more peace once I admitted that to myself. And so the first thing for me, though, is accepting myself fully, accepting the past, accepting some of the things I've done, and really what I did here is I started listing out like all the things that I'm shameful for from the past, or all the things I don't feel good about from my past. I started in my meditations visualizing my younger version of myself, right? Visualizing myself in these different stages and these different events that happened, or these different things that I did throughout the past that I'm not proud of, right? And I think everybody has things that they're not proud of. But I started visualizing that, and I started trying to find like, why, right? Why did I do this? Why did I go about this? Like why was I acting this way for this period of time? Why did I get into drugs and alcohol in such a heavy way? Why did I always follow the pack? Like all of these different things that I went through, I started just kind of labeling those and starting to visualize and starting to try to really like almost like visualize myself giving like the younger version of myself a hug. Cause I just can see how troubled and how like scared the younger Alex is, or was rather, right? The younger Alex. And that still shows up today because of it, because I never went back and addressed it. So that's what I'm really trying to do. And I also talked a little bit about my identity shifting program that I'm in. It's a 12-week program that I've just been working through. And basically the start of it was understanding yourself now, right? Like yourself now, your past self, what you do that you love, right? Like what you do that you don't love, like what's serving you, what's not serving you. How can I understand everything about myself so that I can change into the best version of myself? Like what traits do I have currently? What do I enjoy about my life currently? What do I not enjoy? Like just listing everything out about my current self. everything out that I can and getting it on the page, just through a bunch of questions that they have us just take. And then the second side of that coin is mapping out who I want to be, right? All of us generally have a version that we see ourselves, like this really cool version of ourselves that we want to be, that we're like, gosh, that would be so awesome. Like the dream, we're living the dream. We're super, like for me, it's like, I'm always smiling. I'm lifting people up. I love those people. Like I can think of a few people in my life or that I've met in the past that like, they just light up a room, right? They come into the room and they're always, you just can't help but smile because they're always happy. They're always like just kind of playful, just messing around. They're always like the fun person. And they always lift everybody else up because if somebody's smiling, like you can't help but smile, right? And so I've always loved those people and admired them and wanted to be more like them. And so that's something on my list, but I've just mapped out everything, right? Like, what do I want to do? Like, what's the next year look like for me? What do I see myself doing in 5 years, 10 years? Like, what are some of my dreams? What do I want to work towards? Like, if money didn't matter, like, what would I do? Right. And you start to just kind of develop this 2.0 version of yourself or that ideal version of yourself. And so when we have the 1.0 or like our current version and we have the 2.0, then we can start to really bridge that gap, right? And so then the second, and basically we created what they call a manifesto. And so it's kind of like a combination of like a vision board, accomplishments, goals, affirmations, stuff like that. It's just something that I look at and I try to like have a bunch of emotion when I'm looking at it. It does give me emotion because it has like all my goals and dreams and all these things that I'm going to accomplish in the next year, 5 years, all of this stuff and the stuff that means so much to me. And so I look at it right before I go to bed and I look at it when I get up in the morning. And this is when our minds are the most suggestible. It's when our minds, like when our subconscious, which is, 90%, they say 90% of our thoughts are the same every day, right? That's like our subconscious thoughts. So we just automatically think these thoughts, right? And so those are the two times when your mind is the most suggestible. You're in like the lower brainwave states that are closer to sleep. And so the last thing though is we're in week 3 currently, and this is the week of like breaking false beliefs, right? And this is a huge thing. The belief in myself, right? And we actually got really deep because we have 2 sessions with an NLP coach, which is neuro-linguistics programming. And it's just kind of it's almost like asking questions to get down to like a deeper meaning and kind of be able to reframe certain things that are going on in your life. And that may not even be the right definition, but that's kind of how I understand it. Like asking certain type of questions to be able to probe and be able to reframe certain type of things that are going on in your life and certain type of beliefs, right? So like we got down to the core of why I've never really felt good enough, right? And this kind of goes way back to my childhood. I noticed a shift, like when I was looking back at this, like the child Alex, right? Like all of a sudden he started worrying a lot more about other people's opinions and started holding back from doing certain things. And, growing up, all my confidence lied in sports. That's what I poured myself into sports and nothing else because of that, because that's where I felt the most confident. That's where I felt the most alive. But in other areas, I didn't feel good enough. And I didn't, I had a lot of doubt and I always worried about what other people thought of me. And what Guillermo, who was the NLP coach, he was able to help me get down that, the reason why I haven't felt good enough is it's the protective, it's the younger self protecting me, right? It's the younger self protecting me against doing something that might lead to failure, that might lead to embarrassment, that might lead to me getting hurt, that might lead to this or that or the other thing. It's a protective mechanism. So that was like so simple, but something I never thought of before in the past. And so it was kind of a huge step for me figuring out just that this is just it's almost like the protector, right? It's like I can kind of, when I have like the insecurity, when I have this not wanting to jump forward, not wanting to take that next step towards getting more uncomfortable or whatever it may be, I can think of, that's the protector. That's the younger version of myself. I can visualize myself as a child and visualize that is the version of myself that tried to protect me from these things that I can, brush it off. Hey, I don't need that. I can take this and I can go forward and step into that discomfort a little bit easier. And so that is what I'm doing currently. And so if you are somebody who's on this journey with me, if you're somebody who is trying to have more self-love, if you're trying to have more acceptance of your past, if you're trying to develop more belief in yourself, just like I am right now, and why I'm bringing you on this journey with me, I would recommend starting with, first off, listing out things from your past that you feel shameful for. Like, I think that I used to think that if I didn't talk about this stuff, or if I didn't think about it, or if I didn't tried to lock it up in my brain, that it wasn't going to come out. But it's subconsciously, it's going to come out, right? Somehow it somehow comes out in the way we act, the way we treat others, the way we, however it may be, there's these things come out. So we need to address them. And so I would recommend trying to write down what things you feel shameful for in your past, what things you're not proud of in your past, what things you haven't addressed from your past. And then start just figuring out like everything about your current version of yourself and everything about what you really want in life and who you really want to be and who you really want to become. Like this starts the process of identity shifting. And so those are the big things I would start out with. That's what I've been doing and continuing to make progress on. And every week I will bring you on just a short update on my journey, on things that are working for me, on where I'm at. And hopefully along this process, I can bring you all along as well and help you get into a better place with me, with self-love, with self-acceptance, and with belief in yourself. Because if we have all these three things, there's nothing we can't do, right? There's nothing that we can't accomplish in this life. And so hopefully this has been a good episode. If it is, please, share this with a friend. Please, like us, subscribe, rate us on iTunes or on Spotify. We appreciate all the feedback and all the help. It helps us get out to more people, which is the goal of this podcast, right? We want to make sure that people have the right information. And really from this series, I just want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to develop self-love, to develop self-acceptance, to develop self-belief, and just to see somebody on that journey with you. And so thanks again for taking some time today. I hope you have a good rest of your day, your week, and I'll be talking to you soon.